We're going to start out with our, as always, our public comments. Do I have any public comments?
Yeah, so I'm just curious, from my knowledge, regarding just public comments in the whole, there was no resolution to change the comments at the beginning of the meeting or anything like that to officially change it. I'm just curious, what was the thought process of changing it at the beginning? Because for someone like myself, you know, being a reporter, if the comments are at the beginning, well, a lot of the times I don't know what questions to ask because we haven't already gone all the way through what's on the agenda. So I'm just curious if there was possibly a conversation that the public wasn't made aware of, or what thought process behind that?
No, some of the other counties have it first, and the thought process is because that way, if they see something on the agenda, they want to comment about it before it's on the agenda, they can.
Right, okay.
So some counties do it that way, some counties do it at the end. Usually if it's the end, technically, we're not supposed to get into the discussion. So then they could put it on the board, if there was something, they could put it on the next time. So there's no right or wrong.
That's it.
I guess we're open to comments.
Does anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, I do. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I got 2 phone calls on Monday. And I know somebody else got one of them complaining about the treasurer's office closed. Because they were able to get in here to come in to get their car license. Nobody was here. They'd driven halfway across the county to do that. They were a little bit upset about it. Said there was no public notice of being closed. Well, on the courthouse doors, windows where it was noticed, if they're going to see that, they should probably could have come on into the treasurer's office then. So I don't know. It really wasn't a holiday. And I think there should have been some of them here in that office that day.
Well,
My comments, that's all.
okay. Do you want a response, or
I don't care if you want to talk about it, that's where we're at.
it's not what he's going to want? He's an elected official, and he can make that determination by law according to his department, whether those employees took vacation time or didn't take pay. Of course, I don't know the answer to that, but they can take vacation time. I know the recorder's office was open. I know I was here.
Is
So,
there somebody in your savvy?
Vacation.
Okay,
I just know,
well, I'm just passing it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was said to me.
so I don't know whether this is the proper, is there anybody else?
Everybody's on there. That's in the room.
I'm not sure if this is the proper place, but I'm going to take advantage of the time. I've thought a lot about this, and it's just an observation that I've had over the last several weeks. And I wanted to point out, because I'm not sure that we as a board are even aware of the appearances, I guess, for lack of a better word, and that this is more for public, I think, than for us. But, you know, we hired a director of operations, and it was a unanimous agreement. And in the conversations that we had when we did interviews, we pointed out that there was no structure, there was nothing, that you were entering into a complete void. 55 years plus, we've never had an operation here in Jefferson County that was a county run or city run or hospital run operation. And so it's a rather daunting task. And yet here we are in the span of 2 months, 8 weeks from May 1st. We are within 7 to 10 days from being able to submit the application and have the inspections to have our transport license. We have potentially in front of us right now software programming agreements, third-party billing. We've got an ambulance purchase on the way. We've written $100,000 worth of grants. We're waiting to write another grant. We've put up with GSA. Remember, IAMSA with the help of Chris, I don't know if she's on or not. We were able to get our NPI number. They worked extensively with Chauncey, with Jack. These policies that there was some concern about evidently. It should be pointed out that these policies were taken off of the Iowa Department of Public Health's website. Okay, and now they were tweaked to meet our specific needs as well as to integrate with our handbook, being currently, as we speak, reviewed by Jack. I mean, there's just been a tremendous amount of work that's done. There was waivers that were developed by the county attorney's office. We have people out there that are coming in and volunteering their time to put this together. I think it's phenomenal of what's been accomplished. And I think in our zeal, our effort, or whatever, we as a board have tended to overlook that. And we've asked questions, which is our responsibility to do. But I don't think that we've truly recognized what's been accomplished. And you know, the public has been invited. I recommend that the public go out. I recommend that the supervisors take the time to go out. I know that Dwayne has worked with Brian. We're going to, he's allowed us to put supplies out there. So I just wanted to point out, and specifically to the public, that I think they've done a tremendous amount of work. Judy as well, when she came on board a month ago, in the span of 8 weeks, what's been accomplished is phenomenal. And if something was to happen between now and October, we're in a position where we can take over and we can run. 2 months ago, we didn't even know how that, we've got some building hiccups we've got to overcome. But I just think that, and we've been, I think sometimes we've in our zeal, in our perspective, what our role is in it, I think sometimes we've given the impression, maybe not so much to them, but to the public, that we don't have confidence. And I think that needs to be, what's the word I'm looking for? That needs to be remedied. That we have confidence in our staff. I know there's been comments about and concerns, as well as should be, about, you know, the cost of the operation, the startup costs and stuff. We've all worked hard in that regard. I've been pondering this ever since Friday, and I just do think that we need, as a board, to be better aware of, in our efforts to make sure that the taxpayers' dollars are being adequately taken care of, that we also let the public know that we have confidence in these people and that they're doing a hell of a job. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more public comments?
Yes, I was just kidding. Hey, I got you, Paul, okay?
I hope it doesn't explode when I open it.
I dropped it, but just once, and I checked, there's no dents in the can.
You know, I'm going to respond to your comment.
Okay.
I would hate to think anything I've been concerned about. I'm always concerned about money, always. Trust me. But it's not been pointed at what's been done. We do have an ongoing desire to everybody know what's going on so we can go forward, you know. But yeah, Judy, Brian, even though you're sick, I'm glad you're here. Not Judy, I'm glad you're here too.
Just so you know, you do look like crap.
I told him that when he was in the office. So.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep at all last night.
But did you take your glasses off?
Sorry.
Did you take your glasses off? Maybe that's why I couldn't sleep.
At any rate, where I was going with this is I have no issues with the work you're doing. We just want to always know what's going on.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
And I would take a picture of you, but it shouldn't go on the Facebook page.
Yeah, we want to bring people in, not scare them away.
That's what I was thinking.
I apologize for my parents.
No, you're fine.
It's never gonna change.
And you
but
have done a
can
lot of work in a short amount of time. The fact that you've got that application submitted is huge.
Anyway, back to the business at hand. We need a motion to acknowledge the minutes,
So we-
Second,
and that would be from June 26th, June 28th. And are there any more?
I
30th.
think
June 30th.
We'll have to abstain from one of those,
Which one? All right,
the 28th.
okay, so who made a motion to approve the minutes?
Oh, she says I was here.
You were here?
That's what it says, I was here.
Always good to
oh,
have
he
proof.
wasn't here.
I know, I wasn't.
You weren't here.
Which one were you not here
Okay,
for?
we
I was
need to
not here
correct
for
the
the department head
28th.
meeting.
Lee wasn't here for the 28th.
Okay, so the motion should be
For the 30th.
for the 30th and the 26th. All those in favor of approving that?
Aye.
All right, motion approved.
Aye.
And I'll make a
Now-
motion to approve the 28th.
Second that motion, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. It may take us 2 weeks, but we'll get it.
Meet with the county engineer.
Good morning, Supervisor. After much patience and waiting, we finally have a pre-construction conference for the construction project on Nutmeg in March, as well as the 2022 chip seal program. 2023 chip seal program. They'll upcoming this afternoon, so at that point, we will actually have a start date and schedule for the project, which I'll be able to share with you guys. Just to remind you, that's for stabilization on Nutmeg and Larch, as well as an auto seal and then chip seal on 146th, Brookville Road and Jasmine. Then, because we swapped 1/10 out for 146, we've got extra money in the contract, and we'll use that to rehabilitate 185th and Juniper North along Vedic City, because that pavement's starting to get really bad. It's not, it doesn't get a lot of traffic, but just the weather on it is starting to show really deteriorate the surface there. So we're going to put a double chip seal on that in the center to build the crown back up. And the crew's working on the 225th bridge replacement. They're getting the
That's the
sheet
sheet car.
the tank car, double tank car. They're putting the sheet piling in and they'll start backfilling after they get that done. Working on contract rock, and then we'll be out doing some surface patching on Libertyville Road this week. Where that blow up was, and then there's some other areas there that are showing distress.
Where was it?
Libertyville Road, basically between Key and.
That's the concrete. Okay.
Then we have in our possession a set of relatively new tires for a John Deere blade that we sold. Van Buren County has expressed some interest in that. We think they're worth somewhere around $6,000. So with your permission, I approach Ryan down at Van Buren
Sounds
County and
reasonable.
see if that's something he wants to jump on. If not, if he doesn't want it, I'll put it on the Service Bureau's website, see if any of the other counties have that model. It seems that every time you upgrade, they change the tire size. And with the John Deere, most of our fleet's cats, but even our John Deere run this size of tires. Let's see, we've got our final budget numbers in. I gave you guys this spreadsheet for that. I think yours is on your desk. Basically, we came in right at budget within 1% or so. Perfect on all of the line items, but our blocks that the DOT things us on if we're off are within their requirements on that.
How do our revenue end up?
Our carryover, our balance right now is 494,000, and we projected just under 300,000. So we're looking a little better on that end of it. Then I have a question. I don't know if you guys are the answers for it. But the road department has been paying just over 65% of the workers' comp insurance for the county. And we don't have 65% of the employees or the payroll. I was just curious if somebody could tell me why that is.
I'm guessing it's one of those mysteries we'll have to ask Shannon.
So you have 23 employees, is that correct? And how many does the county have total?
100?
No, we used to have 87, 89.
We'll have 100 after the end, those people kick in. But I guess I'm thinking you have less than a third and you're paying 65% of that cost. We should look into that, okay? It's a great time to do it to start the new year.
We will find an answer for your question.
Then you will see on the payments this month or this week, there is a $40,000 payment to IDOT. That is for the road intersections on Highway 1 North that were done in 2017. They just got around to billing us, but they did send along with the paperwork. They sent the resolution signed by Lee Dimmitt and the other supervisors that were here at that time.
Yeah.
So, and since they waited 6 years to bill us, we were thinking about waiting 6 years to pay them. But I thought that might be a little.
We haven't, can we do that, Ronald? I'm sorry. Can we wait?
I don't think you better. It might affect some.
But I
Okay.
I thought to balance with our cash flow that we would break that up into 4 payments.
Sure.
So,
Just thought I'd ask. Yeah. That was a pretty quick.
I figured I'd highlight that out just in case you guys looked at the payments and wondered what the heck that was for. I think the line item reads for cashier. So that is not a cashier check for doing that. It's the DOT cashier.
Do you have anything else for, nothing else for us?
I'm aware of. Am I supposed to?
No.
Okay.
Just checking.
Yeah, I'm getting old, mate. If I don't have it written down, it slips.
Well, she has to go pocket, so she's not on top of it. Want me to open it for you?
I cannot comment.
Okay.
You know, I always say if you can't say something nice.
I just referenced back that you, Bob was open and I don't.
Okay, next item. Discuss and consider the resolution vacating roadways in Salina. So
Where's our resolution?
I don't see it.
I understand there was somebody going to be participating by Zoom in this. They had called my office this morning.
is there somebody on?
Is there somebody on Zoom that's speaking to this?
They were advised that the call over here at 8:45.
8:47.
And he had called last week also. So there was some confusion on
Was it
the time of the hearing.
Michael Parsons?
Correct.
Is there a Michael?
There's a PM.
A who?
A PM.
Oh.
That'd be it.
I don't know.
Why don't we ask if there is a Michael Parsons on Zoom that would like to comment?
What do we do?
Well, apparently no.
I think the smart thing would be to go on with the agenda, and if one pops up, we'll come back and deal with
There you
that.
go.
Meet with the ambulance director or the base manager.
Not
Good morning.
Good morning. I apologize for my appearance. I didn't sleep well last night. Good morning. Hopefully everybody had a good Fourth. First thing I want to discuss is our policy and procedures are, we're working with Jack.
Good.
And we sent him a lot of ambulance specific policies that he's looking over. And he's going through and mitigating between the county policies and the policies that we had sent to him to see which ones we can expand on specifically for the ambulance. We're gonna sit down with him on the 10th of July to get all this done. He's gonna put everything in.
Yeah, at 11.
Yes.
I'm gonna come.
That's good. We're uploading documentation to the state, to Jacob. Currently, we are about, once that documentation is approved from him, we'll be 90% complete on our second application to the state. The things that we're waiting on, and this is people specific, is our pharmacy agreement with Katie. We're going to get a signature. Our protocols are done. So waiting on the medical director for her signature once that's complete. And our mutual aid agreements with Lockbridge, Packwood, Libertyville, Batavia, and we're going to get also mutual aid agreements with all the contiguous counties as well.
Van
So-
Buren, Henry County, Wapello,
Correct.
Keokuk, Washington, just what you need in case we need
So,
your help. So I've been working on that.
And that's just people specific. That's delayed us a little bit.
Can I interrupt for
Yes,
just a second regarding those, what you just called?
Contiguous counties.
Well, yeah, that. too. Oh, you could, you wouldn't have to have it. Mutual aid agreements. So, Chauncey Walker.
Yeah.
So, are those 28, would those be 28E agreements?
They're more mutual aid agreements. I don't know that they need to be 2080s. They're essentially agreements between, we can turn them into 2080s.
No, I just wondered, do we need to record them then? With the recorder's office? You have to have those.
It's 2080.
They're
I don't-
uploaded to the state
Yeah.
system and
Yeah.
then they keep a record.
And I don't think we've ever done it in the past, because I know CARE, Midwest, and all of them, anytime somebody comes in, you have to have this. It's a generic form that everybody
They have been
signs.
government entities in the past. 2080s are agreements.
Yeah,
with
so-
government entities.
That may be different.
I don't think that we would need to record that.
Because we're not like operating together, we're feeding each other.
Right. It's not,
Okay.
it's essentially just a statement that if you need assistance, we'll come your aid, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
pretty
And
much,
it's
yeah.
not a forcible contract, right? They can't make us. It's essentially us
Right.
operating. Right.
The 28E statement and the mutual aid agreement is off the state website for the Iowa Department of Health. So
Okay.
it's just a generic form that all
And I can
entities
give it
have
to
to
you to
say.
look at when we get it, and you can tell us what we need to do at that point, if that works.
Secondly, I believe we passed out the contracts
We've got this on our agenda.
and announce that first.
Did you want me to discuss this real quick? Tell them about it.
I don't know if that's.
I gave it to Susie.
Which one do you want?
And this right here, the boundary. The final balance came in just shy of like a couple $300 maybe, from what we estimated. He is working on it again this morning. He said it may come down a little bit more, but I told him, I said, we'll just go with this. I did explain that we still need that PO. But he did tell us this morning before we came here, we called him and he's gonna try to get our credit line increased. So then maybe we won't have to send a check and they'll just net 30 it. So he's gonna let me know hopefully by Monday for
He's done a
that.
good job of getting back to you.
Yes, I mean, he's very, very prompt. We called, left a message and within less than 2 minutes, he was back on the phone with us. So yeah, he's very, very good at responding back. So,
Judy, you've done a good job with
Yeah,
this.
good job.
yeah, it initially started at like 60 some thousand, 50 some thousand. We're down to
Yeah,
35.
you've
So
done an excellent job. So appreciate your hard work.
Next item is to discuss, consider space for the ambulance employees during construction. Chauncey, do you have a stun gun?
I do, but.
So we've been,
why
what,
you can't?
by what I've heard, we're looking at downstairs, right? Or out at the engineer's office.
well, I know Chauncey and Brian and I talked last week. What about getting one of those construction trailers and putting it out there in that, what's that lane? There's that concrete
Any
lane
idea
right
on the
there.
cost on that?
On the east side of the building.
Yeah. Because in that way, we wouldn't have to move internet, phone, all of that stuff
Well,
very far.
This will have internet.
Yeah. And then we could be there to have questions or, you know, that kind of thing.
I guess you need to get some costs
Okay.
on it because
It was just an
I
idea.
don't, yeah, no, it's worth exploring, but I know down here is free.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd like to see some costs on that.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and, you know, money just,
I bet last words would have a line on where to find one.
Yeah,
That's
they may even have one.
Okay, we can do that.
so we're gonna table this until we have some figures.
Okay, that's fine.
The next item is to discuss, consider approving billing company A and B for the Jefferson County ambulance.
Yes, and y'all have a copy of that. It says billing service agreement.
Did your office
Yeah.
get it?
We
Yes.
reviewed it. There's no legal concerns there. I just want to make sure the numbers work.
Yes. And some things I want to hit on is I got the CPI language removed, so it won't go up every year. They removed that.
Good job.
It's going to remain at $22 a call. And that's as long as we want to. And that base rate of $22 rather than a percentage rate. If we run a call that's $1,000 or so, the percentage rate is going to go up. So it's better to go on the base rate of $22 a call, which comes out to $48,000 a year. Rather than on 1,922 calls that we ran last year, it would have been 115,000. So that's the difference in cost. Also, there's language in there about collections at 20% rather than 25 to 30% for the going rate. And this A and B company, they work well with the Iowa State GEMT as well as the image trends that we'll talk about next. So
And we all did a webinar with them, so thank you.
that's correct with Kristen, and she was very informative. And those platforms are no cost. There's no startup cost.
And so in the future, if you would decide to switch from the $22 to the percentage, then do you just change this or is that still? an
Well,
option?
that would be yes, but I don't think we would ever go to a percentage rate based upon the numbers and the costs. It's better to stay in the base rate. It's easier for us to budget as
Right.
well and make
Right.
it easier for.
I
Shannon.
guess the only thing I learned when I was out researching things is I had a couple of people from other operations say that at some point, look at the revenue because
Correct.
sometimes the company had more incentive to get better revenue, but you'll be able to judge that because I need to
And-
know kind of what it.
You are correct on that. When we talked to PCC, which was another company that the Iowa State GEMT recommended, their percentage rate was at 7%, and they don't do collections. So they actually upon that. It's better to stay with one company and keep it in-house, and at 20% is a lot better than 30. And just we did the cost analysis, 115 versus 48 based upon last year's numbers. We can pretty much based on what the future is going to be, at least the first year. So you're correct. We can change the language if
you choose to.
if need be. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what, you need a motion to approve this?
Not yet.
Okay, so
Page 3 of this work, I just want to go over the costs,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
On page 3.
Are you on the image trend?
Right.
Michael Parsons is on the line now. He called the office and he told him to call here. Just he's gonna do the.
Just a second.
sorry.
We're going to suspend this for a minute and go back to this line of roadways. And I believe Mr. Parsons is on the phone now. Mr. Parsons, so we're talking about the consider a resolution for vacating the roadways in Salina. What are your concerns, or what would you like to tell us?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was wondering what you would like to tell us about the Salina roadways.
I can barely make out what you're saying.
I tell you what is your phone number, and I will call you, and that way
Okay.
we can hear you better.
You're gonna give me a call back?
Yeah, but we'd like your number to be able to do that.
What's your phone number?
602-330-3764.
Six 602-330-3764. Is that correct?
602
330-3764.
3764.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
She'll give
Hang
you a
up, we'll
call.
call you.
Hello, it's Mike.
Mike Parsons, this is Susie
Yes.
Bush, and I'm the chair of the board, and you are sitting here, we're sitting here, the entire board, and we are at the point where we're going to discuss and consider a resolution to vacate the roadways in Salina. We would like to know what you want to talk to us about.
I own the property back in the corner of, was it Rabbit Avenue? And if you close that off, the utilities for that property are in, because I used to have a mobile home in there. And I was talking to somebody and they said that they actually drove through there from the Board of Supervisors. And I said, well, I think it's 181st. And, I said, if the utilities truck can't get in there, then I'd like to leave that open for access to that property. I guess 181st is overgrown.
It needs mowed, Just a second.
Because there is power, sewer, and water to that property.
It's like Mr. Parsons owns this parcel and this parcel right here.
Okay,
And here's the other access to a road that isn't. here.
okay, so the parcel, the second parcel, as you're going down Rabbit Avenue, the second parcel to the right or to the west, you own that. So you're saying that if we close Rabbit Avenue, you won't be able to access that. But,
Well, according to somebody from that went out there and looked at it, they said that you can drive a car through there, but it's so overgrown that, like, you know, if you had a bucket truck or something, you couldn't get through that road to maintain that.
sure, are you,
Is it Iowa Electric Power? Yeah, because Iowa Electric there's a meter base there.
should be access energy at that point. Lee, are you the one that
Access
talked to
energy.
him?
And we've been, and we
Yeah, I
have to, the polling we've been out there.
Yeah.
There's a crew with the engineer
Yeah,
and the utility company. If they need access down there, they will make access to get to it.
yeah.
Plus, they have a right of way. Utility company does. Now, I'm not arguing for or against, I'm just telling you. what-
Yeah, and so I'm sitting here thinking, would he be able to access the properties from 181st Street?
I think that'd be tough.
Which would be 1 block south, yeah.
Correct.
However you want.
Yeah, you just go across that area.
That was all grown up, wasn't it?
It actually had a lane through there.
Yeah, there was a lane through there.
Good traffic going through
Yeah,
there. Not an enormous amount.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, what,
I would suspect it wouldn't take a very good driver to get back there, even with a large service truck.
say that again?
A service truck should be able to navigate that into that.
Yeah, exactly.
access.
on 181st, you think?
20, whatever the road is to the south of the.
It's 181st.
Yeah, I mean, and like I say, the utility companies, they even can cut your trees in your yard if they don't like what they're doing, as far as that part of it goes. Yeah, and I don't have a dog in the hunt, I'm just saying that as far as access is concerned, I believe that there is legitimate access to that property from a different direction.
Okay.
Would I still be able to drive on that road in front of that property or not?
If we close Rabbit from 180th to 181st, I would say no.
Yeah, because that's the easiest access to get in there, because the driveway is kind of, it goes, well, that and Dean Anderson owns that other property to the, would that be south? And that was his gate access to
Yeah.
get into that farm too. And he says, yeah, there's no way he could get through that 181st with a tractor.
Okay.
Well, the issue is, as far as that drive goes, or whatever, the owner of that property has been maintaining that section and putting the rock on that section, as you and I discussed. And
Correct.
if we close that or vacated it, what the owner would or would not do, in other words, I'm not saying that he would restrict it, I'm not saying he wouldn't restrict it. I'm just simply saying that in this case, it would be left up to him. And in as much as that the property owner has been maintaining that drive, if he had a drive off of 180th, say, to the middle of his property, that could very well have become overgrown and inaccessible, you know, in that regard. So I guess what I'm saying is that having been out there, and we did do our due diligence, and we did drive out, both as individually and then with our engineer. I have no concerns about utility companies and stuff as to whether or not that property would be accessible from the drive if we were to vacate it, would be up to the property owner.
Now, is the request for the abandonment, the vacation, just up to your property line? Not all the way up to 181st Street?
Yeah, it's just
Right. But you guys was talking about, instead of just a piece of Rabbit, all of it. But yeah, his would just stop at that property line.
Right.
Because he owns both sides of the road there, so it would be that property.
So in effect, that if,
Just closing it up here. Make sure we're talking about the same thing. I'm gonna
So
walk
you
over here.
close, it's right here, right, Mike?
Yeah, that's my understanding, yes.
You know, Mike, I was sitting here thinking, looking and thinking, is this another access? to
It
that?
has, but it was at one time, but that had been abandoned to Mr. Anderson, who owns property around.
Who
it.
owns this?
Yes,
So Mr. Anderson owns all this,
yes.
correct?
And Mr.
When
Parsons.
did we
owns
close
here.
that road? When did we?
Boy, I
close?
have no idea.
I'd like to know that.
250 years ago.
I'd just like to know it.
A long time ago.
I know you were here, Lee, but we weren't.
You
We
actually,
didn't close it while I was here, honestly.
you'd have to look at the board minutes and that would be a
See, at
task.
one point in time, I was used to what they called a blanket vacation. And then Pat McAvan came back at some point and said that all that had been done has to be undone because you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But that, again, that was before my time, and they never took steps after that to, people build houses on them and whatnot.
And of course, this is exactly the reason why you wouldn't want a blanket vacation of all those
Right,
streets.
right.
I did like on my vacation all the time. I just-
From the road department standpoint, those roads in Salina have never been maintained or while they were platted as roads, they were never in effect used as roads. That's why we have no argument with vacating, because we don't use them for access. The city never grew in a fashion to require them to be needed.
What's the reasoning for the vacating?
This gentleman owns property on both sides of the road. It is effectively his driveway.
Mr. Parsons, do you have anything further to add to this?
No, it'd just be an inconvenience if that was closed. Would it be my responsibility to maintain that 181st then? So if you guys close it, would I have to maintain it to drive down it?
Just as this gentleman.
Or is that still going to be a county road?
The county engineer is saying that you would have to maintain it.
181st?
That's what he's saying, yes.
The same as.
Was that road closed in previous years?
No, it was not.
It's never actually been used as a road.
I've been told it's never actually been used as a road.
It was platted but not used.
Platted but not used.
50 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Because there was a house back there in the corner that I tore down, and that there was people living back there for
Okay.
as long as I can remember.
Was that?
And the road grader used to go through there when I was a kid, so
Uh-huh.
like I say, that's 50 years ago. So
Oh, we were all around then.
okay. Yeah, my only concern is, I guess it's overgrown with trees. I haven't seen it, so. Would that, so did that property go back to me and whoever owns the property to the 181st? Did you guys deed it back to everybody?
Who owns the land right east of your property?
Dean Anderson.
This one?
North, it'd be north of my property on 181st. It's the same owner that owns that whole corner, kind of, I guess.
So basically, he owns all three of those parcels around you.
Yeah, yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Because well, not all, well, they get all of it. I own another piece on the opposite corner there, but
Yeah,
Well, in answer to your question, this vacation would only cover to the property line, the property that fronts or borders 180th. Your property wouldn't be included in that, but that being said, doesn't mean that you can't petition the board to have that section of 181st, or I'm sorry, Rabbit Avenue vacated to your property if you chose to do so.
yes, but then we talked about he would own half and I would own half, and
That's
that's what
right.
I'd legally be able to drive on that.
Now, I'm talking about south of Kyle's property. And then your neighbor across the way east of you would be,
That's also Kyle.
right, but this would be Dean, right?
No, this parcel is also Kyle.
Right.
Dean is over here and over here.
Okay, I thought it was, okay.
would you show me that?
Okay. But basically, you know, you're right, Michael, it would be split between the two property owners. You'd each own half at that point, if that's what you all chose to do.
Yeah, but the question is that I'd legally be able to drive on that since that half of that road's built on his property.
An access easement at that point.
Yeah, there would have to be, the engineer's saying that there'd have to be an access easement that each of you would have to, would have easement. So each property owner would have easement there as far as that part of it is concerned.
But that isn't what is in front of the board today.
Right.
Right.
It's ju-
Okay,
it's
but
just-
that hasn't been closed in the past, or as
No, sir.
far as you know?
No,
181st and Rabbit has not been closed or vacated.
So if you do Rabbit Avenue, is it Rabbit Avenue or Rabbit Run?
Rabbit Avenue, sir.
And it's only
So it
being
would-
proposed
It
to
would only
close.
go up to his driveway? Is that what he?
Yes, sir.
to the south side of his property line. Of that first parcel. The rest of Rabbit
So
Avenue would,
you wouldn't close the whole road then?
no,
That's, I mean, it's just a few feet of road he wants closed.
I think so. He needs access to mine. So
I understand it's not maintaining it, but
I got a question,
go ahead.
and it's for you, Mike.
Okay.
So what happens if Mr. Parsons would sell his property to somebody and they wanted to build a house there?
They would have the same access as Mr. Parsons has, which would have to be from 181st Street.
So what would need to happen so they could, from the county standpoint?
We would have to improve
Okay.
that is a platted road, but it is not in effect a road.
Got
It's never actually, as far as I can
Been a
tell,
road.
it's never been incorporated. Just
Okay.
like up in East Pleasant Plain, there's roads platted all through that town.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
You know, Mike, I would, Mike, the attorney. As I see this, if we close part of Rabbit Avenue, so the owner has access to both sides, we can incorporate his thing. In other words, we're giving him the roadway. If we do this.
But Kyle owns both sides of that road for that.
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
So
we
it would close it to the public.
And Kyle would then.
That's correct.
So
In fee
what
simple.
about when the owner to the south, Mr. Anderson, wants to do the same thing? Then you've landlocked somebody, is that correct?
Yes, and of course, that's a decision that, a policy decision that you would make as far as abandoning that. Or vacating that roadway. And you cannot leave a piece of property
A ban,
yeah, landlocked.
yeah, and so I'm thinking maybe we need a little more time to look at the ownership of these different plots to see how that would work.
It's definitely, there's no reason why you can't
Yeah.
table this for
Yeah.
2 weeks or a week
Yeah,
or a month.
I just think it's the fairest way to look at it. You know, I really have no issue with the gentleman on Rabbit, but I do just need to make sure nobody else has issues too.
Think it through.
Yeah, think it through.
Well, only because exactly what if that became landlocked? And I'm not talking tomorrow, I'm talking 30 years from now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Again, that's a policy decision you make. I did.
Legally, you cannot. Should
So
it
Kyle
act
owns
by
these two,
accident?
Parsons owns these two.
Yeah,
And
Now,
Anderson
the
owns
easement
this one.
by necessity.
The landlocked property owner has the right for.
The easiest
He
situation
already
would
got
be for
this.
some
Okay,
easements
so
to
he's
happen
got that.
between the
But
different owners.
it's 181st, I would have access to Parsons.
East-west road.
This is Anderson's, right? And he's got access. This is,
Everyone has a right to get to their property.
That's
so how does he get, so that means,
that'd be, again, access from 181st.
yeah,
And then, of course, half of Rabbit, if that was a
Creates
and
more feelings, so, you know, some of these.
then half of 181st.
I guess if we abandon Rabbit, wait, we don't want to do that.
Well, then he'd get half. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Okay, well, maybe that would work.
Well, you know, I don't know what they, yeah. Yeah, but like you said, you can sure table it for a
Yeah,
week, 2, 3 weeks, whatever you need.
We can drive it easy enough. We're pretty close to it.
yeah, we can go back out there. Maybe the county engineer will give us a ride.
Is there ice cream involved?
Not today. I would like to table this until next week, so till we have time to go back out and look at it again.
Okay.
Mr. Parsons, did you hear that?
Yes, yes, I did. And I do appreciate all your time and thank you very much for looking at it. And I really didn't realize that landlocked Dean Anderson in that corner. I think he's got access way down around the other way, but that's the way that they always came in with the farm equipment is right there. They come down Rabbit Avenue, but
We just need to make sure all the other landowners are getting treated fairly and make sure there's accessibility for Mr. Anderson. Anyway, we will be putting out this on the agenda for next Monday. We will look at it prior to that. And if you'd like to call back in, that'd be wonderful.
thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
You have a
guys
great
will send me
day.
an email then? Elizabeth is the one that's been contacting me.
Yes, we will ask Elizabeth to send you a notice, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, in the meantime, you have my phone number, so you can call in next Monday as well.
Okay, that was this number here?
That is correct.
Okay, I got it. Thank you very much.
Bye. This way, we're gonna just try to make clear up everything all at once.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're
Back to Andy.
back to the billing statement, page 3. Just wanted to go over,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
I thought it was page 3.
Is this the one you're looking at? This would be the image trim. I think that's the
I
one you're
think you
looking
might
at.
have been
I should talk about the building. page
All right.
Yeah, I think you were talking about image trim.
This is the one.
Here are the figures. It's page 3 of the piggyback agreement. Got
It's
it.
the image trend.
Yeah, I just want to go over the figures. Webinar training, 2-hour session, $900. Agency level validation EMS setup, $500. Total one-time fee is $1,400. Which has to be, that would be like right now if we agree.
Correct.
Okay. Recurring fees. Elite field add-on option, $1,875. Agency level validation EMS, $315. Continuum for EMS, $3,750. Slate, $2,562, and Slate text/SMS, $500 versus total recurring fees yearly is $9,002.
That would be what it would be after the first year.
Sure.
Yep.
So the first year we'll have to pay the whole amount.
Yeah, it'd be the 10,000
Yeah.
402.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's including the 1,400. That's correct.
Okay.
I
So-
got the language removed for the 7%.
Yeah, thank you for
Until
that.
we, it was on a Friday and I was only able to get a hold of her through email. But it's something we can discuss and that she's looking at tabling it all together at 0.
Let's hope.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm annoying, but with money, I just,
No.
That's because she hasn't opened her can pop yet.
I'm gonna throw it in the. So, we're back to discuss, consider
Would you give me a
billing.
heads up first?
I won't do that. Discussing, consider approving billing company EMB for Jefferson County ambulance.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the EMB.
Second.
And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion passed. Now we're discussing, consider approving image tram for the Jefferson County ambulance. We had a Zoom introduction to image training last week, and it sure seemed it could run all the reports in the world we would ever want.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve image trend.
I will. Second.
Motion a second, all in favor?
I,
Aye. Discussing, consider approving no, credit card for Jefferson County ambulance.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Let's discuss this while I see if the restroom.
Yeah.
We,
so,
we need to take a moment.
Okay, thank you. In the meantime,
We're timing it.
okay.
I think this question is,
A1 lock.
my question is, will one be enough? Because I know in the past, I know you have a credit card, but it's in your, I'm looking at mine, this is
Oh, yeah, you're fine. You're perfectly fine.
We've gotten one line of credit, but with sub accounts on it, if that's necessary, I think you can do that. You just need to
Okay.
approve one line of credit and then they can kind of parcel that out.
So they could each be able to use it.
Right.
That was my question, because I know otherwise it was like person specific.
It's numerous cards for one account.
Mark, how's that work out for you?
My credit card? Great.
But you're the only one that uses it in your office.
Yes.
But I think here it's reasonable that
Mhm.
you have two on one line of credit. So what'll need to happen probably is you're gonna have to write a letter. I'm looking at you, Madam Chair,
Mhm.
because I know when I was chair, I did that for somebody that, it just says it's okay with the county that they have a credit card if we approve that. So then the question becomes, how much credit line do we think we need?
Oh, when it comes to money, I don't want to give them any. But then, Judy, what do you think is a good amount? What would
It'd
you,
be something that we would hardly ever use.
I know
So,
that it's gonna be Amazon type of stuff.
yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
5,000.
I mean, I don't think we would ever go.
I don't think
What
we
do
have
you
to
think?
go through any groups of 5,000, do we? I think there is a level you have to.
yeah, I was thinking 10.
I mean, and it would be something that I would assure you that I would we'd bring everything to the
Yeah,
table
we can
before we
see some
ordered
stuff.
it or anything like that, just so we could show you this is what we're using it for and get approval.
And
prior to
this
doing it.
angst of money will go away with time.
Yes.
I get it. I do.
I started at 5.
You will start at 5.
I started at 5.
And I think if we start at that, I think we should be good because I don't
Okay.
think it's going to be used very often. I do have with that supply list. There are a couple things
Mhm,
that are on back order we may not get, which is our medical bags.
mhm.
But Brian had a couple at his house when we were there over the weekend, and they look pretty nice. And he said he got them from Amazon, and they were pretty cheap if we have to.
So we asked what kind of a credit limit they
Oh.
thought, and they thought 5,000, right?
Yeah, we think that should be enough.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we authorize the chair to write a letter if it's needed to support a credit card for the ambulance
Thank you.
with you two as users up to $5,000. And I don't know which bank we can
I'd
go
rather it be up to 10,000.
up to 10. Okay.
We go through Mark. Sure.
We started at 5 September.
Who budget thing?
Mark goes through out of state. I go through Wells Fargo. I would not recommend them. So
No,
Right.
Well, and I know the sheriff's office has one. I don't know who they're with. Do you? But if Iowa State's already got the process, I just know in the past, I've had to write a letter to approve whoever it was. So
okay, so what's your motion again?
to authorize you to write a letter if it's needed to support them. The credit card. I'm
Up
okay
to
with
about
10,000.
$10,000 and use Iowa State Bank.
Okay.
Do they have their own federal ID number?
the county does.
But the ambulance doesn't?
Each sub agency does not. It's my understanding. That's why we use the letter. It's because there's no, you know,
Is there somebody we contacted
There's no use
Iowa
in
State?
counties
that
that
you
we have.
know?
right. The sub agencies don't have, there's no credit for, you know, each office. It's just the county. Yeah.
Mark, do you,
Just making sure.
is there
Aaron,
somebody
yes.
that they should specifically
Talk to Iowa
contact
State,
the bank?
Aaron can.
just talk to anybody, okay.
Aaron can. Aaron can.
And
If
then
you
you
want,
guys
then I
also
come
need
back.
to give them more set up those electronic funds. What do we call them? No,
EFTs.
the auditor, okay, my bad.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
If I may, it might not be a bad idea to shop around.
Okay.
At banks.
Right.
Um,
Banks, so
Okay,
it
we
doesn't
can do
appear
that.
as though we're going to the same bank over and over again.
Good. Okay.
Okay, that's.
All right, thank you.
Smart.
Okay, we can do that. We can try to keep it local and
Interest rates.
I can do it.
Since Mark is sitting here, I'm gonna drop down to discuss and consider the treasurer's wall.
They don't have a wall?
We do now.
Oh, okay.
Mark, what's that gonna cost?
I have no
Are
idea.
we good? We're good.
Any idea who would do it?
No, we fixed it.
You, oh, it's done
Well,
then?
we scraped it, painted it.
Oh, we're gonna discuss the, yeah.
Then why is it on the agenda?
You tell me.
Okay, moving on. We're gonna scratch this. It's done. I am sorry, sir.
It's okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Waited 6 months. No big deal.
Do you have the,
I'm sorry.
do you guys have the? Oh, yeah, it's the next one. I can't remember.
Thank you for doing that.
I don't have the
Thank
date.
Okay.
You're waiting 6 months.
Back to, you be quiet. Back to discuss and consider awarding contracts. What'd you say?
Is he interested in doing some work at the ambulance center?
Cody charges way more than.
Excuse me.
You know, we need to change the locks around here.
Wasn't that an agenda item once?
What'd you say?
Wasn't that an agenda item once?
Not
Changing the locks.
at one point.
Being a smart ass.
I can't imagine any other mark. Discuss and consider awarding contracts to bidders on 1900 West Burlington project.
So we're kind of back to square one.
Right, we're waiting on Steve Thornton now. And my assumption is, and if you want, I will reach out, but my assumption is that he will present us with something on Monday.
Okay,
Okay, so let's just put this on Monday.
Okay.
All right.
So another week with the work here.
And by the way, in email, because I saw your email, in email communication, Mike did acknowledge that he has no problem with Steve.
I saw that.
I saw that.
You know, I just from various conversations I've had, I don't think we're gonna have a problem finding people
Yeah.
locally that want to do this.
Yeah.
I do think the next time we put out for a bid, we better be real inclusive of all the people in the county that might be, we have to have a way to contact all the people.
And just for those who weren't at the bidding opening, we only had one bid out of, was there 4 or 5 categories?
Five.
Well, 1/5 of the project.
So we're working through what to do, and we've got something in the works that maybe will be on our agenda amended.
Anyway, that being said, the next item is discussing consider construction completion of the courthouse project.
Yeah, so they're doing, Dave and Mike, I think they're doing a lot of tomorrow at 10. So I know, I don't think that water fountain still works.
No.
Yes, who do I need to talk to with that? Who do I need to talk to?
Huh?
Who needs to do that for us?
What's that?
Abby?
Oh, what?
What did you say?
PO.
What you need to do?
Okay.
Okay,
She'll be available right after this meeting's over.
okay, yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
Connor, with the radio station being shut down, is it gonna do me any good to go run a radio ad?
You can still run it on our FM. If you're wanting.
Or you can hire some little kid to walk around the square.
I'm thinking, I mean, I'll call you.
Well, but back in the olden days when they had the square hollers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go, yeah.
Okay, back to the agenda. Tia Connor. Discuss and consider construction completion on courthouse project.
So it sounds like that actually should go on Monday because we don't know until after tomorrow. do
I
we?
know Dave said he had some more punch lists for it, so.
I think we need to wait till after tomorrow. I know that water fountain still doesn't work.
Okay, we will table that to Monday.
I did talk to Dave about that. There's some component inside that's gone, so they're aware that is.
Sure.
Okay, good.
The next item is quite appropriate to how I feel right now. Discuss and consider liquor license for Cedar Valley Winery.
And Neil had an email that there was no problem.
Yeah.
With that, so I'll make a motion to approve that.
When did you get that email?
No, when was it, Thursday or Friday?
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the application for the Cedar Valley Winery.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item is to just make committee reports.
Yeah, there was an ambulance 3-legged stool last week. It seems like one, two.
No, it was week 4 last.
Yeah, but it seems like.
But for last week, I don't,
That's right.
Lee, do you have anything?
No, it was last week,
Yeah, it was.
27th.
No. We did the bid opening on Friday.
Yeah.
And I did the spotlight show on Wednesday last week,
On Wednesday?
Tuesday.
or Tuesday, excuse me. No, I'm sorry. Let me apologize. I was going to do a spotlight show with Chris, but I had an INR appointment, so I didn't do that. So Abby was supposed to remind me of that. Obviously, she didn't.
We're gonna have to talk to her.
I know, exactly.
So yeah, the ambulance 3-legged stool meeting was at 27th. And probably the main thing there, we just talked more about transition and that, and Brian was there and gave an update, which was appreciated by everybody. And Brian from the hospital said that his board's been asking him about how long the levy will need to be in place. And they've agreed for 2 years, but they want it phased out eventually. And so we agreed that the county and the hospital should meet in January just to talk about things like that, because that's when everybody's working on the budget. So that's kind of the main thing there. We had a department head meeting.
Yeah, I honestly did not understand Julie's comment about muddy in the water.
I know.
And I don't understand Julie most of the time anyway.
So, okay.
Other than the same meetings you guys were at, I had no other meeting for the
We
county.
don't have any claims, right? Okay, we don't have any claims. Motion adjourned.
Just a question. I will probably adjourn and I have to go home. So Susie, we talked about going back up to Salina this week. We need to make that determination.
Sure.
So basically we got Thursday to Friday.
I would buy you ice cream.
In the car?
And I would assume you would prefer Thursday.
That would be great. Yeah, because Tuesday they're closed. No,
Today's
it's
Wednesday.
Well, if it's Thursday, it needs to be out there soon,
After what?
after 10 anyway, because it's, yeah, we'll need to do the agenda.
Abby, could you change our agenda to closer to when Dwayne can have his ice cream, which would be 11 o'clock?
Well,
on
let me
Thursday?
ask the attorney.
Yeah.
So we're not making any decisions, we're just going on a ride, maybe stopping to get ice cream. Does it really need to be on the agenda?
Are you doing a road tour?
Yes.
Well, we're going to go look at a specific road.
Colorado road tour. Traditionally, we do put those on the agenda. What, I
I'm
mean,
not advocating not. I'm
Yeah,
just talking about.
look, it's better if it is, because the three of you, I presume, are gonna be in the same car, going out there to make some decisions on the road, right?
Talking about
And
it.
talking about what to do with that road.
Yeah, I think it's simpler to put it on the agenda that all three of us are gonna be. Otherwise, can you just see us in 3 cars driving down phone?
I would strongly advise that it's not on the agenda.
Yeah.
How about that?
Actually, I could walk there.
Yeah.
Okay, do you will
Can
walk?
you really? Did that?
Yeah, it'd be about a mile,
Oh,
2 miles, mile and a half.
What time?
So why don't we make it,
so she's got access, so I don't know what the problem is.
yes, yeah, hey, so anyway, back to this, I would like it on Thursday,
Okay,
closer to 11, so we can go look at the city of Lockridge while we're there at the restaurant.
oh, so 10:45?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine, because then it should be done with walkthrough, then we'll know more on that.
Well,
10:45?
unless you
drive.
want it later.
10:45 road tour.
You come too? It's convenient.
Have you ever been on a road tour with us?
I have not.
Well, see, you have no idea what you're
I
missing.
have an idea.
Oh, no, it's much different than this.
And Lockridge Cafe is really good.
It is real good. We're
You don't have to
supporting
eat those
local
little stupid
business.
little cups of yogurt.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second or third?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Oh, what about no bills?
No
Nope,
bill. Remember
no
we did
bills.
it last
Well,
week.
that's right.
All right,